In this tutorial, what we're going to do is look at how to drill the first of the holes for the digital die project. So what I've got in order to do this is I'm at the front of one of the sort of mini drills that we use. There's various different types available, but essentially they're all pretty much exactly the same in terms of how you get the job done. So what I'm going to do is I need to actually drill 3 different sizes of hole in order to produce this particular PCB. Okay, so now the first one we've got is going to be a hole that's going to be drilled at 3mm. These are ones that are going to take bolts once we've finished the project. These are the ones that are basically in the outside corners up here by themselves. You can spot them because they've got no other tracks going to them. Okay, so they're going to be 3mm. There's also another 3mm hole you're going to need to do, which is just here. Okay, which again is all by itself, and that's going to be used as what we call strain relief for the power supply cable, for the PP3 battery clip cable. And by passing it through there, it means that there's less risk of the power cable getting desoldered and pulled by accident by someone using it. As well as those, we're going to need to use some 1.6mm holes as well, or you'll probably get away with a better 1.4. The 1.6mm holes are going to be these ones here. You see there's 2 with square pads, these 2 here with square pads, and then underneath there's this horizontal row just here, and there's also a single one just above it. That's for the download socket, and if we don't drill those slightly larger, then we do find it quite difficult to mount the download socket. Everything else is all going to be drilled at 1mm. So in this particular session we're going to look at doing the 1.6s and the 1s, and then we'll sort of see where we are after that. So let's remind ourselves of the basics of drilling. First of all is health and safety. Do make sure that everything's done up, not insanely tight, but fairly sensibly so nothing's going to come and work loose. And before you start drilling, make sure that the actual drill bit itself is also firmly in place. You're going to need to make sure that you wear goggles while you're drilling. I'm just putting mine on now. Okay, and then we're ready to get started. I'm just going to clear my work area as well and take everything else out of the way. Now, essentially, the process of drilling is to drill at full speed. On this particular drill, there's a dial on the front which turns the drill on and off, so always drill at full speed. And we're going to use the handle, which is on the sort of right hand side, so on the opposite side, but you can see it sort of working up and down in the picture at the moment. Okay, and we use that to drill the holes. When we are drilling, we're making sure that we drill gently and that we're not trying to stab through the board, otherwise we're going to generate a lot of friction, a lot of heat. It's going to wear down the drill bit much more quickly. So at the moment this is a 1.6mm bit, and the way I know that is because I got a caliper before the tutorial started and I measured it. I've also, for only my second time, I've got a 1mm bit as well just here, which I'll be using when it comes time to change. So let me start off then by drilling my 1.6 holes, making sure I hold my workpiece nice and firmly with my fingers while I do my drilling. Okay, so I'm going to do those and then we'll talk some more. Okay, so as you can see, I've now drilled my 1.6mm holes, okay, and they're looking pretty good. Now, what can sometimes happen here is if you do use a big drill bit, then there's a risk that sometimes your tracks and stuff will start to peel off and peel back. If you do have a situation where some of this copper track has started to peel off the board, don't be tempted to rip it off. Leave it where it is. Try and push it back down flat again with your fingers. And you know, when you come to solder, it's going to be important that you do end up with a good sort of contact there when you solder it down. So do try to avoid ripping any track off. Okay, so it's time to change the bit on the drill. Now hopefully you remember doing this from your soldering lessons you've done before, but let's quickly just touch on that again. So I'm going to start off by loosening off the clamp stand here. You don't need to completely undo, just as loose as I've done it there. I'm then going to grip this firmly with one hand, hold the base with the other, and just gently twist it backwards and forwards until it pops out of the top, like so. So just like we've done previously, what I'm then going to do is I'll find this button that I've got just here, and I'm going to push and hold that down and twist until it starts to sort of, you know, lock that into position. I can then rotate that clockwise from the way I'm holding it at the moment, and keep doing that until that comes undone. Once that's undone, I can remove the actual drill bit itself, like this, and I can also remove the collet bit as well, which is this little piece here. Okay, and as soon as I've done that, what I need to do is to put that away in the collet holder. Now it just so happens for some reason that this one's actually already full. Normally it'll be one of these missing because that's the one that came out, so you'll bank that and put that away. What I then need to do is to locate the appropriate collet for the drill bit I'm about to use. So I've got my 1mm drill bit here, so I'm going to start putting it into these different holes. Obviously it's going to fit in there, fit there, fit there, fit there, fit there. The tightest fit is this end one just here that I've got, okay, and that's the one that you want. You want the tightest fitting one that it'll go into. So I've now found the collet bit that I need, and I can start by putting that collet back into the drill. I can then put this retainer back over the top, and also the drill bit's obviously got to go in there as well. Find the button again, push and hold that down, and tighten it up like so. I'm just doing that sort of finger tight. You see, I'm not straining or anything like that in order to do that. That's still in there perfectly tight. If you do them up excessively tight, it's going to get jammed and stuck, and it breaks the drill, and it's one less drill we can use. So please do be thoughtful about that, and don't over tighten, because otherwise you're going to break it. It can then go back into the base like it was in before. Okay, and again I can then just tighten that up, sort of finger tight, about like that. Okay, so that's ready to go. Okay, so that's what I want, and again, not doing that up too tight, otherwise it'll break the stand. So I've now got my 1mm drill bit in, and I can now go through the same process all over again of drilling out all the remaining holes in my PCB. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that now, and once I've finished that, I'm going to go and use the pillar drill to drill my corners, and then we can start to solder. So I'll see you in the next tutorial.